Alright guys, last week might be one of the biggest weeks of Honkai Star Rail leaks we have had in a while. We've got new information about Pearl and NIHILUX, a possible NOVAFLARE list, fresh confirmations about HIMEKO and Robin SP, major Fate collaboration news, and even rumors about DLC-style weapons that could buff older characters. Some of these leaks are already causing huge debates in the community, while others could completely change future team building and pull plans. So let's break down everything we know so far and see what's actually worth paying attention to. But before that, please hit the like and subscribe button. Now if you have done that, let's get this video started. The topic that's caused the most discussion recently, Pearl and NIHILUX. This information comes from Sakura Haven. Well, technically not directly from Sakura Haven, but from an anonymous source who contacted Sakura Haven and shared several rumors regarding Pearl, NIHILUX, and some major story spoilers. According to Sakura Haven, this information was actually received quite a while ago. However, they chose not to publish it immediately because they wanted to verify whether the source was trustworthy. After HIMEKO SP was eventually confirmed as a firing rendition unit in version 4.4, Sakura Haven decided that source had enough credibility and finally shared the rumor. According to that rumor, Pearl is supposedly a wind elation character, while NIHILUX is a lightning character. Not only that, but NIHILUX is also rumored to receive a second form similar to what happened with Cyrene in version 3.7. In other words, the version of NIHILUX we have seen so far may not actually be her playable form. Now obviously, this immediately reignited the old debate about whether NIHILUX is going to be replace Yao Guang. Personally, I think that discussion is still a bit premature. The reason is simple. The rumor only mentioned that NIHILUX is lightning. It never specifically said lightning elation. Maybe Sakura haven't misunderstood the original source. Maybe the source meant that both Pearl and NIHILUX belong to elation. We honestly don't know. All we have is Sakura Haven's wording, which only says lightning, not lightning elation. So right now we can confidently say that NIHILUX is part of the elation archetype. Meanwhile, Pearl was specifically described as wind elation. Because of that, I'm honestly about 80 to 90% convinced that Pearl is going to be a major upgrade for elation teams. Instead of worrying about NIHILUX, I think most players should focus on Pearl first. Whether you own Yao Guang or not, Pearl will probably provide a significant boost to elation teams. If you are someone who does not have Yao Guang, Pearl could have solved some of these issues. Now the question is obvious, can we actually trust this rumor? Well, after Sakura Haven released the information, someone claiming to be Mortis responded to it. According to Mortis, there was only one incorrect detail in Sakura Haven's post. NIHILUX is apparently not lightning. What's interesting is that Mortis did not deny anything else. He did not deny Pearl being wind elation, he did not deny NIHILUX having a second form, the only correction was the lightning element. So if we take that statement at face value, there's a good chance the remaining information is actually accurate. That said, even after removing the lightning detail, we are still left with the same question. Is NIHILUX actually elation? We still don't know, and honestly that's the important part. If NIHILUX does end up being elation unit, then I can definitely see her replacing either Yao Guang or Sparksy. Personally, I would lean more toward Yao Guang being the one at risk, but that's just speculation for now. We'll probably get more information in the upcoming weeks. The fact that Pearl and NIHILUX rumors have started appearing again is already a good sign. Moving on to the next piece of news, which also comes from Sakura Haven and the same anonymous source. According to the rumor, both HIMEKO Nova and NIHILUX will receive special gacha animations similar to Castoris, Painan, Cyrene, and Silverwolf 999. Other than that, we also just recently received a new rumor last week. It mentioned 4 upcoming NOVAFLARE upgrades: Topaz, Jiaoqiu, Sunday, and Argenti. Now honestly, HIMEKO Nova and NIHILUX getting special summon animations is not surprising at all. Most of us already expected them to be major featured characters during version 4. The more interesting part is definitely the NOVAFLARE list. So far, these names line up with the previous rumors we have heard, except Lingsha and Fuke are both missing in this list. I do agree that Lingsha and Fuke need the buff, but at the same time, I also agree that their buffs don't seem so desperate. I could see the reason why having Lingsha can break your account in some ways, but I think she's somehow irrelevant because break teams are known for their sustainless comps. That's why they don't need Lingsha. As for being a general healer, I think we already have Hyacinth and even Huahuo, despite her healing issues. I could see why Sunday is going to have his NOVAFLARE soon, despite his relevancy in the meta. He's not a bad unit, but at the same time also not great, overpowered character like he used to be. This might have the connection with the release of HIMEKO Nova, whose future base teams will consist of Astral Express members, where each of them will grant HIMEKO different buffs. But outside of HIMEKO Nova team, if they decide to buff Sunday, this could affect units like Genuine, Hypercarry Ashvale, Finan, Mayday, Acheron, and some other DPS units as well. Of course, this is a good news though. As for Jiaoqiu and Topaz, I kinda agree they need some adjustments. Their popularity and character usage had been declined as more updates went by. Same goes for Argenti, he's currently still irrelevant, so I guess this new list of NOVAFLARE is pretty fair. Now let's move on to the next group of confirmations from Mortis. These are not necessarily brand new leaks. Instead, Mortis has been responding to existing rumors and clarifying which ones are true and which ones are fake. First up is HIMEKO SP. Remember that the old rumor claiming that HIMEKO SP gains benefit from having Astral Express members on her team? Mortis confirmed that rumor. The characters specifically mentioned were March, Danheng, Trailblazer, Sunday, Wealth, and Evernight. Because of that, the possibility of HIMEKO SP being tied to Astral Express teammates has become much more believable. That said, I seriously doubt she will require 3 Astral Express members to function properly. My guess is that she'll probably need 1, maybe 2 at most. Anything beyond that would be way too restrictive. Next comes Robin SP, and honestly, this one is probably the most confusing leak we have gotten recently. Mortis apparently confirmed that Robin SP is indeed a remembrance character. However, the explanation surrounding her kit created even more questions. According to Mortis, Robin SP's design is related to Evernight because Evernight only buffs the Memo Sprite Master. At the same time, Mortis also said that Robin SP can deal damage on her own. And that's where things start getting weird, because if Evernight only buffs the Memo Sprite Master, then how exactly do the two characters fit together? Based on the available information, Robin SP seems intended for a new Remembrance archetype, and according to the leaked team presets, Evernight appears in every one of her teams. The problem is that her supposed mechanics don't seem to align with Evernight's current playstyle. So either we are missing information, or there's another part of her kit that hasn't been revealed yet. We also still don't know whether she's primarily a support or a DPS. Previous rumors lean toward support. As for whether she works alongside Castoris, forms a completely different team, we simply don't know yet. Personally, I think she might replace Cyrene rather than Castoris, not because Cyrene is getting power crap, actually the opposite. Cyrene is valuable in so many different teams that freeing her up could benefit your account overall. Castoris, on the other hand, is a major version 3 push character. Historically, however, does not completely replace those characters very quickly. So I don't think Castoris is getting kicked out of her own archetype. If anyone gets moved around, Cyrene feels like the more likely candidate. Of course, that's just my own speculation. We will need more Robin SP leaks before we can draw any real conclusions. Now let's talk about the Fate Collab Part 2, and it's scheduled to launch on July 24th, 2026, during Phase 1 of version 4.4. This time we are getting 2 new limited 5-star characters. The first is Rin Tosaka, a Quantum Erudition character. Based on the current information, she will function as a hybrid damage dealer and support, taking inspiration from her role as a gem mage in the Fate series. The second is Gilgamesh, a lightning destruction character. As you would expect from the King of Heroes, he's focused on dealing massive AoE damage through attacks inspired by the Gate of Babylon. But here's the biggest news for free-to-play players. Starting on July 24th and lasting all the way until version 4.6 ends, every player will receive a free character selector. You'll be able to choose between Gilgamesh and Archer. So if you missed Archer during last year's collaboration, this is your chance to finally get him. And if you already own Archer, you can simply pick Gilgamesh for free and save your pools for Rain instead. Honestly, that's an incredibly generous setup. Looking at overall pattern, Part 1 in 2025 introduced Saber and Archer. Part 2 in 2026 introduced Rain and Gilgamesh. And now comes the really interesting part. A new leak suggests this pattern won't stop there. The information comes from Mortis, one of the most reliable leakers in the Honkai Star Rail community. According to Mortis, the Fate collaboration is planned as a long-term project. New Fate characters are expected to be released every year, and Sakura is currently planned as the next playable edition. Of course, the leak is still marked as subject to change since nothing has been officially confirmed by Hoyoverse. But Mortis has a very strong track record, which is why many people are taking this leak seriously. Now for the final information, this comes from Mortis. He said that Acheron, Jingyuan, and Embebeter Lune will receive new DLC weapon that is affecting their kits and animations. However, the price or currency is still unknown. The price itself could be in the form of stellar jades, shards, or even paid currencies. And then he adds that there may also be a way to obtain one for free, though likely not entirely free. So I guess this means this pay to win buff, like if you are free to play player and having genuine bench after a long time, you could not get access to his buff, and thus he remains useless all the time. I'm not really sure about it, as the informant himself still doubting about the price though. What do you guys think about this? So I think that's all for today's news. What news excites you the most? Is it about the NOVAFLARE, the Robin SP, the Fate collab, or maybe the forced to pay buff to your favorite characters? Please share your thoughts in the comments. If you find this video helpful, please hit the like and subscribe button, turn on notification as well so you won't be missing out on any of my style content. I will see you guys on my next one. Bye bye!